Welcome back to my second episode of Fourth. And again, like I said, I'm giving you an introductory experience with Fourth. I'm using Swift Fourth evaluation as my user interface or whatever for Fourth. And again, this is like running a terminal in Fourth or whatever. Don't worry about it. I'm showing you the language and how it works. Previously, I showed you how to create a big letter F, which is wonderful, using stars and other stuff like that, using spaces and emit, and how to create a word, which is like a command that they call it word, and you start off with a colon and you end it with a semicolon. And you combine words together to make new words. Now, according to the book I'm using, the Starting Fourth, a word is a character or group of characters that have a definition. In other words, just set of characters that are together. That makes it typically you want to use something that you understand, which is the advantage of this language. Almost any characters can be used in naming a word. The only characters that cannot be used are return, a backspace, a space, and the caret, or what's the shift of 6 on most keyboards. There's a fourth word, which I'm going to teach you now, whose name consists of 2 punctuation marks. The word is period quote or dot quote, right there. You see it on the screen, right here. All right. Can use the dot quote inside definition to type a string of text on your display. Basically, it's like print, or it's like quotes around whatever you want to print. And we're going to create a new word here called greet. Start off with that greet dot quote and then again, like usual, space, semicolon. So start off with the colon. We define the word greet, or the word greet, and in it is dot quote with an end quote at the bottom. So whatever's inside those quotes gets displayed. All right. Says okay, likes my format of that. Now we're going to see what it does. So again, this is like printing something. So we do greet. If I spell it right. There it is. That may not look exactly pretty to you, but you see what everything inside that quotes. I'm not too sure about the space before the word hello and the space after the word fourth. So we'll just see what happens here. Greet to quote, just so that you can see a difference. A semicolon. And you see it doesn't like that because the fact I did not have that space at the beginning of it. Now you push the up arrow key. The neat thing in this editor, hit the insert key. Hello. Like that one. Notice I only put the space up here at the front. Right here, front hello, because here it did not like it. Doesn't know what to do with it. Okay, but here there's a space. So here's a word, space. Spaces are important in this language. But notice I don't have a space here at the end. So now I'm going to do Greek 2. And you'll know that it got rid of the extra space. That's all it did. But you do need the beginning space. Got that? That's unique. That's some to me that's an important little detail, but to them it probably isn't. But as you see here, this looks all normal. Same thing. There's Greek 2. There's Greek 1. Looks identical except for the extra space here at the end. Get rid of it. All right. So there you go. There's how to print something. Uh, and the quote at the end marks the end of the text. It's a delimiter. That's what that is a delimiter. All right. It says this is the end of my text. If you left it out, you probably complain at you. All right. So there you go. There's how to print something on the screen. Now we're going to learn some mathematics. And I don't want to go into ugly detail about how this thing works, but your your we typically do 3 plus 4, and then we say equal, or we do 3. But you need, again, you're working with what are called stacks. You put things on there, and then you tell it what to do with it. And let, the best way is to show you. Again, the book sits there and says we put 3 on the stack and 4 on the stack, and we tell it to do the operation of plus. And according to this, I'm supposed to put a period at the end, but let's see what happens if I don't. It says, okay, it didn't do anything. All right. So I'm get, by the way, it does show you the result right down here, down at the bottom right there, 7. Okay. But let's try 3, 4 plus period. And the period says display. Okay. That's what the dot quote does. The dot means display. Okay. Like up here. See dot quote, it says display. Dot means display. Quote means everything inside the quotes. Here it sits there and says we're going to do 3 plus 4, 3, 4, and add them together, and we're going to display it. What that says, that dot does. All right. And you see, I got the result anyway. Let's try it differently. Let's do 5, 6, and add. And let's say display. Okay. See what happened there? I personally find that interesting myself, but you may not. So you can put whatever we want to and do your function, and then you can get your result, or you can do it all in one line like we did here. This is all in one line. This is separate lines. Okay, this says do this and then display. So it did that, and then I told it display, and it displayed what was on the stack. And it replaces the item on the stack is what it does. And it literally pushes 11 back onto the stack when it does this function. 3 plus 4, 3 on the stack, 4 on the stack, add them together, push 7 on the stack. So now the only thing on the stack is 7 because they replaced it. 5 on the stack, 6 on the stack, add them together, and replace the stack with 11. All right, you have to remember stack. Okay, so we got that one now. Now, this is called postfix notation. The operator is affixed after the numbers. Okay, the word plus gets 2 numbers from the stack, and the period gets 1 number from the stack and prints it. The word spaces that we used before gets 1 number from the stack and prints that many spaces, and the word omit gets a number that represents a character and prints a character, and the others we defined. All right. In the book, it sits there and says we want to add we want to define a word. They'll always add 4 numbers, this is really where the power of the language comes in. We want to create a word that always adds 4 more numbers, or basically 4 more. So they said we can define the following. And again, it's a definition. 4 more is allowed. And then what we do is put 4 on there, do the plus, and then we end our definition. So we've just created the word 4 more, which always adds 4 to it. So we can say 3, 4 more, and I can just do that, but then I want to display what it results. And you see there, it comes up with 7. Or we can do this all together. We can sit here and say, let's say 5, 4 more, and display it. 9. It works. It's all 4 more is always in there. It even works with negative numbers. For example, like they said in there, we have 10, which is what we're putting on the stack, and we're going to go 4 more, which is the same thing as typing in 4 plus, 4 plate space plus. All right, and we're going to display it, and it works. So now we're doing addition, and we're creating creating words that are functional math functions. Now, remember, we're dealing with a stack. And for stack is defined as last in, first out. Last in, first out. In other words, what's put on there at the top, okay, comes out first. First of all, we already see what's in our stack. Oh, Stack Overflow. That is cool. That's interesting. Anyhow, so we're going to put some items on the stack. 2, 4, 6, 8. And then we're going to display the stack. 1, 2, 3, 4. See? First in, last out. So you can look at it as if we shoved in 2 on the stack, then we place 4 on top of 2, 6 on top of 4, 8 on top of 6. And then we sit there said, pull the top one off, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. Top, next, next, next. That's how it works. You'll have to get that memorized. That's just a fact of the language. All right. And then they said it reads the input from left to right and executes each word in return. All right. For input, the rightmost value on the screen will end up on the top of the stack. Rightmost will end up on the top of the stack. All right. And then on output, the rightmost ends up on the from the bottom of the stack. Okay, and it says we can get into trouble, which I think is what we did up here. We went beyond our stack. So let's see what happens. They should have an example in there. 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stack Overflow. Okay, see that? That means you've underflow, not overflow, underflow, which means I've gone past what's on my stack. And that's a neat thing to know here. Tells you that you've gone past your stack if it says stack underflow. You don't have anything left on your stack. Stack underflow. All right. In other words, it's saying the stack is empty. And when we did 4 more, that just put it onto the stack and add the 2 numbers on the stack. Right now, we shouldn't have anything on here. So let's do our 4 more and see what weird things we can get into. Stack underflow. We're off our stack, but let's put a 10 on there, like we did before. Say 4 more. Display it, and it comes up with 14 because we put something on the stack and then we used it. But what happens if we display it again? It says we're off our stack. We used up all the numbers we had. Okay, because the stack gets replaced. It's one storage spot there, which you have to remember. And as you stack things on top of that storage spot, all right. And stack underflow in the book, it sits there and says stack underflow is not okay. And truth of it is, it says it's not okay. See, there's no okay here. No okay here. But here it says okay. Stack underflow, not okay. No okay at the end, but there's an okay at the end. So that the language is fun. um, it, if you maintain a list of your newly created words and their meanings as you go, you can see what they are. And in fourth, this list of names or words we created is called a glossary. All right. Just letting you know that. So in this period of time here, I'm going to kind of stop, although I do want to try a few more things. Let's see whether the functions we have in here. Let's see. 10, 2 is asterisk a correct math function? It is. Okay, let's try 10, 2, and is divide. 5. So as you see there, we end up plus, minus, multiply, and divide. I'm not going to go into any of this right now, but you can see you can already start doing some of your math right here by this function. We have plus, we have minus. Well, let's do that one. 10 minus, or not minus 3, 3 minus, and then display our stack. 7. There you go. So we have plus, 5 and 6 plus, multiply, divide, minus. All right. So I'm going to stop right there. This is good for today. Let you work on some of the stuff. You've seen the period, quote, whatever's in the quotes, we'll just display that. Period displays your stack or whatever's in quotes. That's dot quote. Then you do your stack 3, and then you do your math function, and you do more math functions, and the period displays what's on the stack. If you display more that's on the than not what's on the stack, it'll give you a stack overflow, some bizarre number. That not overflow, stack underflow. I gotta say that right. Stack underflow, which means you've got to blow your stack. All right. So there's a lot to take in right there. So we're going to stop for now. And I want to say thank you for joining me on the second episode of this fourth. And we'll continue on from there. All right. Thanks. Bye.